What's up, YouTube? This is TJ with Upward Progression. I'm a certified personal trainer and nutritionist. Today, we're going to talk about mindful eating again. This is mindful eating episode number 3. Today, I just want to go over simple carbohydrates. So I've gone over simple and complex carbohydrates in the past, but we'll go over it again just to review. And then from there, we're going to apply it to our mindful eating lifestyle. So what is a carbohydrate? Carbohydrate is one of the 3 macronutrients that we eat and we get from foods that gives us our energy for functioning in life, for doing what we need to do. Carbohydrates are our main source for energy. So proteins, of course, help build muscle, fats help give you energy and longer lasting energy, and it gives you a more fulfilled stomach when you're eating. But carbohydrates is the main source of energy because carbohydrates get broken down into what is called glucose. And glucose is the very simple sugar in our bodies that gives us the energy and helps everything to move into work. What is the difference between a simple and complex carbohydrate? Simple carbohydrates are carbohydrates that are simpler in molecular structure, so they get broken down a lot quicker and a lot easier in the body. Complex carbohydrates are, of course, more complex. They take a little bit longer and they take a little more work to break down, and so we end up feeling full for longer when we consume complex carbohydrates. And we end up feeling full longer because, of course, it takes our body longer to digest this food, and our hormones can work a little more efficiently, so our body can actually have the time to be able to process our food and get the vitamins it needs, and it releases the hormone called leptin, which tells us that we are full. So again, when we're eating simple carbohydrates, the hormones take a little bit to catch up, and sometimes we still think we're hungry. This is why it plays so crucially into mindful eating. It still gets me because, of course, I'm not perfect. Just because I'm a trainer doesn't mean anything. It just means that I have a little bit more knowledge and I have a little more experience. But even when I eat too many simple carbohydrates, then of course my stomach feels awful. There's a lot of food. I'm way too full. I've eaten way more than I should have. It's because those hormones didn't get released until later, at a later period, once I've eaten so much food already. So with simple carbohydrates, it's a lot easier for us to consume more. So it's good to be mindful of the difference between simple and complex carbohydrates. So what are some examples of simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates? So an example of simple carbohydrates is white bread, pizza, foods like candy, foods like soda, foods that are just simpler and usually they're more sugary. So foods that are high in complex carbohydrates are foods like vegetables, whole grain bread. Generally, whole foods are usually filled with complex carbohydrates. A good way to tell is just by your experience of eating different foods. Which foods fill you up longer? This isn't always the case, but it is a good system to use when you're trying to decide what is going to be best, because whatever keeps you full longer, of course, stops you from eating more, and then also gives your body the time to process and to have the hormones release that it needs to release. Because it is always good to remember that you may not feel full until 20 minutes into eating. It's always good to eat slow, eat mindfully, and just really listen to your body and how it's feeling. What is it telling you while you're eating? Which foods is it like? Which foods is it not liking, even when it's good for the taste buds? We have to look past just the sensation of taste and look at what else is our body going to do as it processes this food. So I hope I broke it down very simply for you guys. I want to keep this video short. I didn't want to go into every little detail. I want to keep it very simple for you guys to help you to do things that will help you to treat your body with love that it needs, and to have the foods that keep you full and looking your best. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, comment, like, do whatever you can to help me out. I appreciate it. Thank you.